sometimes life happens, and I will tell you that one of the reasons I have time and time again chose to be a business owner is for the flexibility, and I'm sure a lot of you all have chosen it too, especially if you are a mom. I originally started my business when my one that I actually picked up today was super tiny, because he was a preemie. He was born at 28 weeks. I was actually in the hospital a month before he was born. So I went in at 24 weeks and was on bed rest. And he had a lot of health issues. So we were doing like 1 week hospital stays, like every 3 to 6 months. And the flexibility, there was no way that someone was going to hire me, or at least that was my mindset at the time. No one was going to hire me and let me just take time off work all the time like that. And so creating my own business was part of that. It was a part necessity, as well as I have that entrepreneurial bug, and I'm sure some of you all do too, where you might have experienced this, where maybe you've tried it out, or you have this idea and you just can't get it off of your mind until you do it. And maybe you're sitting here working your business and you're just like, I have to make this work because I won't be able to live with myself until I do. And that was definitely some of that carried me through for some bits when I really could have had a regular job. And I was sitting there just constantly thinking about my business. And I joke and I'm like, I got bit by that bug. And for many of you all as business owners, and we talk about this a lot in the BGL, or the Business Growth Lab membership program, that it is really common, and I just want to normalize this. When you are struggling in your business, it is really normal to think, oh my gosh, it'd be easier to go have a 9 to 5. Now, part of that is you want to be able to run your company and just be able to kind of mindlessly check out or emotionally check out and just do the tasks and show up, where you don't have to be making decisions all the time and be in decision fatigue. Right? Can you relate? There is a thing called decision fatigue. And that's why it's so important for us to set that structure in our business and create that structure so that you can have those days, okay? Now, that's not the point of the Make It Rain Challenge, but I just want to open up with that. I'm going to be presenting and doing our presenting offer, or presenting, not offer, but the presenting challenge presentation I'm going to be doing a little bit later today. I had to go pick up one of the kiddos from their program with all the flooding. They decided to have a short day randomly, didn't know that this morning. So I had to go pick him up, got delayed a little bit. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to present our beautiful presentation, but I didn't want to leave you hanging. So if you are here, if you're in the group, you're ready to watch, want to give you kind of a short overview to get you thinking, and a little bit more off the cuff coaching. So we've talked about getting a lot of clarity around how much money is it going to take for you to have the lifestyle that you truly want, because you didn't choose being a business owner just to barely make ends meet, right? You probably went into it, well, some of us go into it thinking, I just need to make this amount. And then you quickly learn that you need to make way more than that because you have to pay taxes and everything else. But you didn't go into it to just stay in survival. So we want to start functioning from a place that we're no longer in survival and no longer making survival our goal, okay? We want to go beyond survival. Then day 2, we needed to check and make sure, do we know our numbers? Do we know if we have the right numbers done, meaning like, do you need to raise your prices? Do you need to do something different? And we have to have that awareness so that as we start to actually build our offers, and we're talking a little bit more about offer stacks today. And one of the things that I really want to talk about here while I have you in this video is priming your audience. There's two different ways. If I was to create a little flow chart, and I was thinking this morning, and I was like, man, I need to create one of these flow charts. If I was to say, do you have a large following or do you not have a large following? That is going to be your starting point of yes or no. If you have a very large following, great. You can put out some low ticket offers and you don't have to charge as much. Now, I know that sounds kind of like counterintuitive to a certain degree, when it's like, why wouldn't I want to make more? Or why should I charge more if I don't have a large following? Well, the thing is like, to fund your business, know that if you do not have a large following, you cannot be putting out these little low ticket offers and piddly stuff. You can't. You're wasting your time. You're keeping yourself stuck in survival. It's not a good thing. Don't do it. What you can do is, if you wanted to make like a little $7 offer for Black Friday, or if you wanted to make that and run ads to it, you can do that, because then you're accessing a larger audience. But to spend all this time making a $7 or $25 offer is not going to serve you well. It is not going to boost your revenue, okay? We do not want to focus on that. Now, if you are doing that as part of your lead magnet, that's different. And really, truly, honestly, if you see any of these low ticket offers out there, it should be a part of your strategy. So, for example, if we were to create a little $25 thing where it's not trading time for money, it's a digital product, we're selling it, we're going to test it, make sure the marketing's working, making sure that people are clicking. If people are clicking and buying it without any ads, great. Because now you know, if I run some ads to that, I should get more clicks. And if it's $25, it's going to be covering its own cost to run the ads, because typically a good lead on ads, you're going to pay anywhere from $3 to $5 for a good lead. Now, before you go run ads, you do need to know what then comes next, because it's part of a bigger strategy. You don't want them to just like, okay, click, they bought my $25 offer, great, I made a little bit of money. That's not a money-making strategy, though. Yeah, you're going to make a little bit, but you're going to stay in survival. You're just making extra cash. We got to get beyond the just some extra cash mindset. That's what this Make It Rain challenge is. We have to get past the make some extra cash, okay? When we say that, someone type it in the chat, okay? Get past just a little bit of extra. We want all of it. We want the lifestyle. We want to be like growing our businesses and having like revenue coming in, okay? Not little side money. Now, that's okay to start with that mindset. I'm not putting anyone down if you're just starting out. But if you've been doing this for a while, and if you were ready and you're here because you want revenue, okay? You need a strategy for what happens after they buy, in this scenario, in this example, that $25 offer. Then what? Is it part of an email sequence that they're going into that's inviting them to what? Because you should have your core offer. Now, again, we mentioned offer stacking yesterday, and we're talking about that more today. But offer stacking means our core offer, typically it's that middle price, typically, not all the time, depends on your business. That middle price is that core offer, and you have a downsell and you have an upsell. And okay, that's what I was trying to reconnect. But we want to make sure that we have a core offer. So here's what can happen. If you have too many offers in your business that you're promoting, okay, There's a difference. You can have offers that are in the background that you can present to people as they come up. But we want our core offers. We do not want our offers cannibalizing the other offers. Okay? If you have too many of them outward facing, they're going to cannibalize each other. The same thing, if you have too many of these low ticket lead magnet things, people are going to start to associate you with low cost. We don't want that. We don't want that, okay? We want to be associated with high value. And so I typically say you can have 1 to 2 low ticket, like lead magnet style offers, and don't have them running at the same time. Don't do that. All right? You might have one half the year and the other one half the year, or maybe you switch them up each quarter or something like that. But it takes a while for people to catch on to what you're doing because of the algorithm, because they've got a lot of other noise in their face. You need to stick with what you want to be known for. Okay? And I say this, oh my gosh, I used to do this so bad. So bad. I wanted to put all my knowledge out there and put a different offer every single month. And I'd put an offer out there, and I wouldn't even give people the time to digest or process that I had an offer. And in my mind, I thought I was really putting it out there, and really it was like 1 or 2 posts. And I would sit there and be like, no one bought the offer. Oh my gosh, I need to do something else. And I'd create another offer. And there was a million things that I wanted to do and a million things I wanted to offer. And guess what? You can, but you're not going to put it out there like that. Okay? Lesson learned. Learn from me. Don't put it out there like that. If there is a lot of habits and skills and things people need to learn, you're going to put them in a 6-month program or a 12-month program, and all those things are going to be in that program. And the program is the core offer. Not all these little things, because you're going to confuse the hell out of people. They're already confused. Let me just tell you, they get confused really easy. Okay? It's going to be really clear to you, and you're going to think, how in the world are they confused? It's going to be confusing to them. So we need one core offer that we can keep talking about, that we can talk about from all these different angles. And really, truly, the more specific and niche you get on the topic, the higher the price can go up. The less specific you are, the price goes down. That is a general buyer psychology, okay? I'm not making that up. I'm not saying what other coaches are saying. That is just buyer psychology. People are willing to pay more when they can see a direct transformation and position themselves in it. If it is something general, like, I'll use myself as an example again, learn how to meditate. People want to pay maybe $35 for that, no matter how much education, wisdom, and everything that goes into it. But if I say meditation for anxiety and give them a specific thing, we're going to go from this to that, guess what? Suddenly they'll pay over $1,000. No joke. No joke. I've done it. Okay, so when I say the more niche and specific you get, the higher the price goes up. You get to choose. I'm not going to tell you what you have to do or what you should do. You get to choose. And that might be a journey that you just need to go through to say, like, I need to just put out my Learn to Meditate offer, my general offer, and try to tell everyone the benefits of meditation. And trust me, that habit, that old way still comes back occasionally. And I'm like, I just want to teach my meditation course because it's safety, it's comfort. But guess what? I'm teaching almost the exact same thing when I teach it to anxiety. Although that's not what I want to work with anymore, because then I got all the anxious people and I had to do a lot more hand holding in the beginning. So you also need to be aware of like who you're working with and who your target audience is. So there's a couple factors that you're going to figure out when you're like designing that offer. We're not designing the offer per se today, but I do need you to consider, like, if you don't have a lot of skill and you need to build your skill up and you need to figure out how to pitch this offer and put it out there, then work towards developing this higher ticket and sell it for low ticket. But let people know that, hey, it's this value, and I'm going to do it for this first time, like a beta group, I'm doing it for this price, right? Like, create an offer where it's no joke worthy of $4,000 to $5,000. The group program, not one-on-one. Let me clarify. Or I'm going to record it and give it to you kind of thing. Something that's like $4,000 or $5,000 worth of content, because it's going to have that level of impact, not that amount of stuff. People don't want a lot of stuff. People that want a lot of stuff are the people that want to pay a little bit. People who want transformational stuff and they don't want a lot of stuff, they want exactly what they need, they're going to pay more. Okay? And that's really important. Write that down. Come back to it. Make it so that the value of the transformation is $4,000 to $5,000. And then mark it down for $97 for the first group, or the first month, or the first 12 enrollees, or something like that. Okay? And again, this is not one-to-one. This is not you going out there and teaching it to them, or working and doing stuff for them. This is you recording it, or you getting people in a group. And this is if you need that. I'm not telling you, if you've already got something established and you're already charging more, don't do this. Okay? This is for the people who are going, whew, I don't know, Izzy, I'm getting all the flutters, and like, you're telling me to put together an offer and a package, and I'm not really sure what to do, and I need to reconnect. Okay, internet's reconnected again. Now, for those who have an offer, I'm going to encourage you to look at your offer, and if there's any fat that needs to be skimmed off of that, skim it. Okay? Skim it. Because people do not need as much as you think they do. They need the experience. They need the insight. They need the opportunity for transformation. And that's more of holding the space and holding the container than it is just overwhelming them with amount of things to do. And I've seen this working one-on-one with people for a long time. I have all these yoga things they can do, and all these mindsets and meditations and breathing techniques that I could give them. But if I give them too many in a short period of time, they get overwhelmed, and then they don't do any of them. But if I say, like, this is the one we're going to practice this week, and we're going to see what all's coming up, and we're going to see, what questions you have, and we're going to work through that, and we're going to cater towards that one thing for this week, and we're going to hit it in multiple different ways, guess what? They then get results. But if they're sitting there and watching all the lectures about why this one thing is the thing that they need to do, then they're spending all their time just thinking about it, and they're not spending their time experiencing it. Okay? So I'm giving this to you right now because I'm hoping that you're going to feel this and you're going to try to do the work, because the only transformation that you're going to have, it's not from just listening to me. It's from taking the things I'm saying and then practicing them. And if you don't practice them, then you're going to need more hand-holding, which is why you need to be in a program, right? And so that I really want you to understand for you developing out your business and your offers. So we give them what they need, and we sell them on what they want. So thinking about that, this is one of the biggest problems I see so many business owners do. What is it that they really want? Right? You're wanting more revenue. Okay. But these aha moments are really what you need. to get you into more revenue. Like, let's sit down, let's create your offer, let's look at how you're presenting it, let's make sure it's the right people that you're presenting it to, let's make sure that you've got the processes and the systems. And that doesn't always mean like automations, because you have to create the systems before you put it into a system to run it, okay? You need to understand your offer with such clarity that you can easily explain it to the people and they'll understand it. That means you are going to sit down with your offer a whole lot. You're going to be talking about it a whole lot. You're going to be reworking it. You're going to be diving in. You are going to treat this like your baby. And what do you do with a baby for the first 3 months of life? How's the first 3 months go? Anybody? And I don't mean the like don't sleep part. You need to sleep. But you are spending a lot of time with that baby in the first 3 months. A whole lot. And guess what? And then suddenly 3 months, it's like magic. Suddenly you're getting more sleep. But you have to spend a lot of time with it up front so that you really, truly know it. You know what every little cry and whimper means. Right, mamas? And so coming back to that original thing I was talking about, if you put a $25 lead magnet, it better be super fantastic where they're like, holy smokes, this person really knows what they're doing. This was amazing. I have all the confidence and trust to buy their next thing or get on a call with them. Then the next step from that, how are you getting them into your program, into your offer? How are you making the sale? Now, I know this varies slightly differently if you have a product, if you have a service, or if you have a brick and mortar. But really, truly, the buyer psychology is still the same. Let's take a yoga studio, for example. That was a lot of where I did my first consulting days. If you were working at a fitness studio, boutique gym, a lot of times you'd offer like first free class, right? You want to get them in. You want them to see. Same concept. How are you getting them into your store? How are you getting them into your space? Then once they're in, you need to build their confidence, wow them, so that they want to have a conversation with you, right? If you ever been into a place and like the salesperson approaches you and you just instantly say no because you feel like they're going to sell you on something. Or if they come over and they're helping you and they're making suggestions and they're being really friendly and inviting and it doesn't feel like pressure, it feels like they want to help, right? We can do the same thing and mimic the same things no matter what our business is. To be unattached to the sale, but be attached to being a servant leader, a servant sales, to see if we're going to be a good fit. And, if you have a really good experience in a store, you're going to be thinking about that and you're going to have a good association with that. You might tell your friends about it. You might try to come back. That's the same experience that's going to be happening online for us who are running virtual online businesses too. And then, right, they have the first bite of the sandwich. They get their gift basket. They experience this little mini course or whatever it might be. And they're wowed. And they got bit by that bug. And they're just like, I want to obsess. I want to go follow them. I want to stalk them a little bit. I want to see what all they're creating. And I'm just waiting for the offer to be presented. Right? And they present the offer and it depends on what stage of readiness they're at. And again, we dive into this in the hook, line, sold training even more. But like, you have to know how your offer is fitting in and what is that overall strategy. Now, I'm going to come back later and I'm going to do the presentation with the PowerPoint so you can see this, but it's going to be a lot of the same stuff, the same concepts. And you might have even gotten a little bit more here because I'm just ranting and going off the cuff and just going into full coaching or consulting mode. But think about that. I want you to map this out. All right. I'm going to see you later today. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about like how we're positioning ourselves. Like how are we being a magnet to get them into our funnel and into our ecosystem? Because really, truly, if done right, you could start making sales this week and next week based off what I'm telling you. No joke. No joke. Okay. So having a simple, I cannot articulate this enough, simple system. Do not make it overcomplicated. It will naturally get more complicated on its own. Keep it simple. Simple, simple, simple. Think about if they're walking into your store and what is that customer service level and what you're putting in front of them. Okay? Don't overwhelm them. So you yourself cannot be overwhelmed or they will be overwhelmed. If you're confused, they will definitely be confused. Keep it simple. All right. I will see you later and hopefully I'll definitely see you tomorrow. All right. Bye.